This is a good-looking room. My goodness. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Kelvin Moore, and I am the General Manager for the Savannah Convention Center for your newly expanded Savannah Convention Center. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all here for this fantastic and momentous occasion. I couldn't be happier to have you all here celebrating this with us. So thank you for giving of your time and joining us here today. I'm going to turn the microphone over and the stage over to our MC for the evening. He has become a really good friend to me in my 14 months in Savannah. He is a damn handsome man. And that tie, oh my goodness. Please welcome to the stage the President and CEO of Visit Savannah, Joe Marinelli.
Thank you, Kelvin. He promised me he wouldn't do the handsome joke, but I did tell him that Governor Kemp liked my tie, so that's good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I look around and I see so many familiar faces, and for many of us, it's an opportunity for us to exhale and smile proudly. Today is truly a momentous occasion for Savannah, for Chatham County, and for the great state of Georgia. It is with great pride and excitement that we gather here today to celebrate the official ribbon cutting and opening of the newly expanded Savannah Convention Center. The vision for a world-class convention facility in Savannah was first conceived in 1990. Now, nearly 35 years later, we witness the realization of that dream. This expansion elevates the Savannah Convention Center from the 154th largest convention center in the country to the 72nd largest convention center, a truly remarkable achievement. This new chapter not only allows us to better serve our long-standing and valued current customers, but also positions Savannah to attract larger and more prestigious conventions and trade shows in the future. Our sales team at Visit Savannah, the Savannah Convention Center staff, and our hotel partners stand ready to meet the moment and seize the exciting opportunities ahead. Reflecting on our journey, it is inspiring to see how far our community has come. You know, not so long ago, Savannah's tourism offering centered around the historic Pirates House, an emerging River Street experience, and a local lady and her sons serving sandwiches to local office workers. Today, Savannah proudly boasts having a thriving culinary scene with multiple James Beard award-winning chefs, premier retail offerings, diverse museum and tour experiences, and an impressive array of hotel and lodging options, all now complemented by this building. Before we proceed with today's program, I would like to take a moment to recognize some important individuals and groups with us today. First, to our city, our county, and our state elected officials. Thank you all. Your unwavering support and commitment to the local visitor economy has helped us get here. This celebration today is another example of how the local tourism industry truly does equal economic development for our community. I would especially like to welcome representatives from Congressman Buddy Carter's office, as well as from Senator Raphael Warnock's office and Senator John Ossoff's offices as well. Thank you for being here with us. To our local tourism and hospitality partners, including our friends at the Chatham Area Transit, we are grateful for your steadfast partnership. To past and present board members of the Savannah Convention Center, thank you for your leadership and dedication over the many years. And to our invited future convention planners, and by the way, we have 22 convention planners and 5 convention tourism media sitting right over there evaluating Savannah for future conventions. Let's recognize them and thank them for coming. They all arrived yesterday, enjoyed a nice reception on a rooftop at Plant Riverside last night, toured this building this morning, and have been learning about Savannah all day long. They'll join us at the reception. Okay, let's move forward with our program. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce a valued friend and esteemed community leader, Mr. Mark Smith, the chairman of the Savannah, Georgia Convention Center Authority Board of Directors. A native of Savannah, Mark is a proud alumnus of the Georgia Institute of Technology. With over 25 years of experience in the hospitality industry, Mark's career has included key roles in hotel real estate and ownership, extending to partnerships in numerous hotel properties around Savannah and the surrounding region. Currently, Mark serves as Chief Executive Officer of his family's water utility company, which provides water and wastewater services throughout Southeast Georgia. Mark and his lovely wife, Kim, where's Kim? There's Kim. Mark and Kim are deeply committed to the Savannah and Chatham County community, actively serving in leadership capacities and contributing their time and talents to a number of civic and nonprofit organizations. Mark was appointed to the Convention Center Authority Board in 1996. He had jet black hair at the time. He was then promoted to chairman by his fellow board members in 2004. And while some jokingly liken his tenure as chairman to that of a Supreme Court justice or even the Pope, there is no doubt that Mark's leadership has been instrumental in the continued success and growth of this facility. Mark's vision and unwavering commitment have been central to the expansion project, and he has guided the process with remarkable determination and integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my friend and current chairman of the Savannah, Georgia Convention Center Authority Board of Directors, Mark Smith.
Well, good afternoon. What a great day it is for Savannah, for Chatham County, and for the state of Georgia. Thank you all very much for being here and sharing this auspicious occasion with us. I have been blessed beyond deserving in my life. The Lord has guided, directed, and watched over me, and I'm truly blessed. One of my many blessings is to serve as chairman of the Savannah, Georgia Convention Center, and to be a part of the large team that has delivered this vibrant economic generator and expansion project. A $276 million project doesn't happen without a large number of people involved. So let's take a walk down memory lane as we arrive here today, and I have a lot of people to thank. First, I'd like to thank my wife, Kim, for allowing me to serve and devote so much time to the Convention Center. While serving, we had twins, so they have grown from birth to college graduation. I owe everything to Kim, and I thank her so much for supporting me and coaching me up when necessary. Thank you, Kim. I'd also like to thank Richard Kessler, who's here somewhere today. I saw him earlier. And Richard, I want to thank you for taking a chance on a Green College kid 46 years ago. There he is. And hiring me into Days Ends. And assigning me to work on 2 hotels in Savannah. What a treat it was to come back to your hometown fresh out of college and work on projects. Thank you, Richard. Of course, this expansion wouldn't have been possible without Chatham County building the original building and providing the majority of the initial construction funding through SPLOST and motel taxes in the first place. The taxpayers of Chatham County have invested about $150 million into this convention center. Thank you to the citizens of Chatham County. Local support continues in the form of an $8 million per year hotel-motel tax contribution to the facility, and that amount is growing at a rate of 5% a year. So it's going to continue to grow and ensure the stability and financial performance of this building. I'd like to thank all the board members who have served these last 25 years. If you're here, please stand up. If you're on the board or have been on the board, stand up and be recognized. Tony, see you over there. Henry, great. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for your dedicated service. In 2014, we shifted the management of the Savannah Convention Center to the Georgia World Congress Center, and what a remarkable relationship it's been. At the time, we began the analysis of the feasibility of expansion. I'd like to thank Frank Poe, Kevin Duvall, I know Kevin's here, and the entire team from the World Congress Center. I'd also like to thank our previous managers, Bob Coffey and Sherry Spinks, for all their leadership in coordinating the expansion process. In 2015, we journeyed to Atlanta to seek the first design money for expansion. I'd like to thank Al Scott and Eddie Deloach and Senator Ben Watson and Lee Hughes for making the trip with me. I'd also like to thank Governor Deal's Chief of Staff, Chris Riley, for recognizing the value of the project. We met with Chris, and I kept going three, and that meant $3 million. And he came through, he and Governor Deal came through with $3 million, and that started our design process and led to this Dean of the delegation, Ron Stevens, Senators Ben Watson and Derek Mallow, and Billy Hickman, and Edna Jackson, Ann Allen Westbrook, Carl Gilliard, Bill Hitchens, and Jesse Petrie. Special thanks to Speaker Burns and Lieutenant Governor Jones for seeing us through all these appropriations. We also have to thank the entire State House of Representatives and the State Senate. Again, Chairman Scott and Mayor Deloach were very supportive. We completed the design and we were out for pricing, and then COVID hit and the challenges arose, but we plowed ahead, and our first big lift of $80 million was appropriated in 2020. A special thanks is due here to Michael Owens. Michael was instrumental in obtaining the funding and lobbying and making sure it happened. Of course, Governor Kemp had a little something to do with it also. But thank you, Governor Kemp. Thank you for believing in the project. Thank you for believing in Savannah, and thank you for believing in the tourism industry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We couldn't have done it without Governor Kemp, so thank you so much. I'd also like to thank the state of Georgia for building the building. The GSFIC is an incredible organization that rose to the challenge of executing their largest construction project ever. They were a real joy to work with, and I would be remiss if I didn't have special thanks to Marty Smith, Gerald Pilgrim, and Grifton Passley for the countless meetings and phone calls and site visits and executive sessions and all of the things we had to deal with in getting this building built. Thank you. You're true professionals. We really appreciate it. A special thanks here is also due to board member Ben Pelote. Having a contractor on your board during a huge construction project is a true blessing. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for all the time. As we know, the expansion was delivered behind schedule. This placed a tremendous burden on the Convention Center staff as well as the board. Thank you, Joe Marinelli, for working with all of our clients to solve all the issues with their events, and they were numerous. And thank you, Burt Brantley, for all of your help and leadership during that process. And thank you, Kelvin Moore and Al Rojas, and all the entire team here that moved heaven and earth to make these events happen or get accommodated in some form or fashion. I think we only lost one convention that we had scheduled. And the board of directors also, thank you, Ann Shear and Ansley Williams and Ben Pelote and Martin Miller and Pat Farrell and Pritpal Singh and Ruth Kortelbaum and Trip Tollison. Thank you all so much for all you did during all those times as well. Of course, a convention center is about holding conventions. We have over 75 bookings on the calendar that would not be happening if it weren't for this expanded center. We know the economic activity generated from those conventions will pay the debt service on the bonds that were issued to build this expansion. This building is so much more than steel, concrete, and money. This building is about people. This building changes lives. This building provides a pathway for people to advance in life. No other industry has as much upward mobility as the tourism industry. Our industry is growing and we need employees. There is plenty of work and there is plenty of opportunity for advancement. This is the most gratifying aspect of today. This expansion will allow thousands of Georgians to have a better life. This expansion involves much more than the people that I have mentioned today. This project serves as an example of what can be accomplished when the city and the county and the state all work together. Let us continue to pursue this model as we seek to advance Chatham County and the great state of Georgia. Thank you very much. And now it is my privilege to introduce the 75th Speaker of the House of Georgia, House of Representatives of the Legislature of Georgia, John Burns. John Burns is a native of Effingham, Scriven County. He's a farmer. He's brought good common sense approach to government and to the state legislature. And we're so happy to have leadership at the state level in our region. So thank you so much, John, for being here and being such a good friend. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I think you all know what I know. It's a great day to be a Georgian. It's a great day to be in Georgia. Wow, I'm blown away. I've been in this place several times the last few months, always from the side, but this front view is really awesome, something to be very, very proud of. I know we all here in Southeast Georgia are proud of it, but I think all of Georgia, as soon as they see this facility, will be very, very proud of it as well. You know, it's always good to be in Savannah, and I hope you folks have enjoyed yourselves and seeing all the great things in Southeast Georgia and Savannah and Chatham County that are taking place. We're here today celebrating yet another accomplishment for Southeast Georgia. There's been a couple of those recently, with the opening of this great new facility. And as Chairman Smith said, all that it means to us here in this part of the state, but the folks who we're bringing from all over the state here. Now, Dale and I were here recently for a volleyball tournament. There were hundreds of volleyball tournaments or teams from across the country right here, and without this expansion, that would not have been possible. So it's working already. Now, we've been here all of our lives. I have. Dale's a little more recent, but we've been here, and we're proud to have raised 2 boys here and 5 grandchildren. One of those young ladies was playing volleyball here, to grow up in a wonderful community just outside the coastal empire, but as part of the Savannah community and the Chatham County community. We've had a front row seat to the growth that's occurring now and has occurred in this part of the coast of Georgia, coastal Georgia. And it's a blessing to have so many opportunities available to the citizens of these communities. These opportunities are made possible, as we all know, through strong leadership at the local level, as was mentioned, and on the state level. Our state government is dedicated to creating a brighter future for the citizens of this great state. Governor Kemp, First Lady Kemp, I want to thank you both for your leadership and your friendship and your compassion and your continued loyalty to Southeast Georgia and what's so important to our state, what's happening right here in Savannah. That thanks is really rooted in just the championing you do of great projects like this one, for prioritizing and creating historic job growth and economic development all over this state, not just blessing us, but blessing our entire state. Now, colleagues in the House and our colleagues in the Senate, we're so very proud of this investment that we've been a part of as well, to ensure that the dollars we're here to create this magnificent structure, this second to none, will be so important to us in the future. The funding of this magnificent facility, which will create, has been mentioned as well, Mark, great paying jobs you've been a part of here, and have a positive generational impact on families all across this part of Georgia, not just today, but for years to come as well. As we know, here in Savannah, tourism, and in Chatham County, Savannah tourism is a critical economic driver, and we quickly outpaced many of our neighboring competitors. I'm going to name a couple of them. Charleston, just up the road. Doesn't stop there, though. Asheville, Hilton Head, our neighbors in Hilton Head, and even the great city, the capital of country music, Nashville. When it comes to attracting visitors to our state, great work going on here. But you know, it's an incredible accomplishment, not only Savannah, but I think it speaks to what's going on in this great state of Georgia as well. The tourism industry here alone accounts for 1 out of 7 jobs throughout Savannah and the coastal empire, directly employing over 28,000 of our neighbors, hardworking individuals with jobs that provide advancement opportunities for all levels, from all levels of education and job training. It's a couple of folks I want to thank. A lot of them have been thanked, but I want to thank 3 that I know of that have been very, very important and continue to be important in much of the growth in our state. That's Gerald Pilgrim, Marty Smith, and Grifton. Thank you for y'all's leadership and what y'all doing, and y'all's entire team as well. You're making a difference. Thank you for that. Now, the folks I just mentioned have made a big difference. This community has made a big difference, and we're all going to enjoy this facility as it makes a difference. This space that we're witnessing, the impact it will have on this community, on Southeast Georgia and all of our state, and I would dare say on the United States, as we bring good folks down and enjoy some good old Southern hospitality. Thank y'all. God bless you all, and God bless this great facility.
Well, now comes the time of the program where I get to introduce Governor Brian Kemp. So I sent an email to Bert Brantley and I said, they've asked me to do the introduction for the governor and I've never had to do that before, so what do I need to know? What are the do's and the don'ts and what's the outline? And Bert sent me a note and said he prefers his introductions to be kept between 12 and 15 minutes. He likes it detailed from starting as a farmer and working through to governor, and I said, yeah, I'm not doing any of that. So if you'll indulge me for a brief moment to speak from the heart. Many of us in this room have had the opportunity to get to know Governor Kemp, and I'm proud to say that I'm one of them. Over the course of each year, the governor and I typically get to see each other 2 or 3 or 4 times at different events. And without fail, he always says to me, hey, Joe, how are things in Savannah and how is tourism? It's a simple gesture, but it speaks volumes. It reminds me that our governor genuinely cares, not just about the big picture in the state of Georgia, but about the people and places that make Georgia such a vibrant state. And he takes time to ask every time I see him. I'd also like to add a personal story. You know, it was the early days of the pandemic, those uncertain weeks of April and May of 2020. Every week I was on a Zoom call with 8 or 9 of my counterparts from around the country. We would get together on a Zoom call and talk about what was going on in the world, share information, be supportive of one another, all trying to figure out what comes next. And I remember on one of those calls, I'm looking at the screen with some of my buddies from around the country, and I said, hey guys, what kind of visitor traffic, what kind of tourism are you getting these days? There was a long pause. And finally, my buddy from Baltimore said, Joe, what are you talking about? We don't have any visitors. I looked out my window, and there were people walking by. I thought, wow, we have visitors. There are people here. There wasn't a lot of them, but we had people. And that's when it struck me. Our community was open. Our state was open, cautiously, safely, but open nonetheless. That was in large part because of Governor Kemp, who was among the first leaders in the nation to say, you know what, our state is open for business. Come on. So Governor, thank you. In part because of your leadership, Georgia, Savannah, and all of Chatham County have remained resilient and strong, and our tourism numbers reflect that growth year after year after year. On behalf of everyone here today, thank you for your tremendous support in helping us get this expansion done, and for your confidence in all of us to take Savannah and Chatham County to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce a friend to me, a friend to our industry, and a true friend to Savannah, the 83rd governor of the great state of Georgia, Governor Kemp.
Well, thank y'all very much. Thank y'all. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Joe, thank you. I didn't ask you how tourism was doing when I saw you today because I can see it firsthand. Marty and Amy Porter and I are just so honored to be with you all to mark this great next chapter for Savannah. And as the speaker said, not just Savannah, but for the entire region and really for our whole state. And I just want to start by recognizing and thanking a great partner in all of this, really great partners, but the Speaker of the House, John Burns. John, I appreciate you're always so thoughtful to thank Marty and I, and we feel the same about you and Miss Dale, who's here with us today, and just thank you for your solid leadership. He is definitely a champion not only for coastal Georgia, but really for our whole state. I also want to thank the hardworking men and women of the Georgia State Financing and Investment Commission, who really did a lot of work on this project despite the challenges that we saw during this years-long project. And I know Mark and Joe and the speaker mentioned Marty Smith and his team. You know, what they had to go through to get this building built, not every project has to go through, quite honestly. Supply chain disruptions, workforce challenges, a global pandemic, other things that were disruptive, but they just stayed at it. They kept chopping, and we now celebrate this incredible completion. I also want to thank all the folks of the Savannah Convention Center, especially Mark Smith, for your leadership and for Kim letting you do that. I appreciate that. I know exactly how you feel. The staff going back with Sherry Sparks, Stephen Hall, thank you for your work in making all this possible, and I know that you have a great leader in Kelvin Moore that's going to do an incredible job. I was talking to him outside about the book of business and all the conventions that are coming our way. And he just said it's been great. And I told him Marty and I would be his biggest advocate out there, because every time we hear about groups of Georgia associations and others that may go down to that state just south of us that was closed, quite honestly, a lot of the pandemic, I give them a hard time about not being in our great state and in Savannah. To all the local leaders who bought into this vision and worked to make it a reality, thank you very much for your leadership. It is because of your leadership that projects like this continue to succeed in Savannah and throughout the coastal region. That certainly includes our local legislative delegation that I have such a good relationship with, have served with many of them for a long time. The mayor and the chairman and really a lot of mayors and a lot of elected officials, not only from Savannah and Chatham County, but really from this whole area, that are here with us today, and some that are not. We appreciate you. To our convention planner friends, we are honored that you all are with us today. We are glad that you have Georgia and Savannah on your mind, and we are looking forward to working with you here at the Savannah Convention Center, and I know that you will find a great team and great Southern hospitality, which is exactly what this city builds itself on. Every time Marty and I are in this part of the state, it feels like there's a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting going on. Maybe it's because the speaker's from down here. No, I'm just kidding. But literally, we have seen generational projects. I think that this is one of them in a lot of ways for the tourism and service industry. But when you really think about what we've been able to do, even going through the pandemic, just since I've taken office, we've announced over 60 projects in Chatham County alone, representing 8,300 jobs and over $2 billion of investment. If you include the entire four-county joint development authority, those numbers jump to an incredible 130 projects, bringing in over 26,000 jobs and $13.5 billion of investment to the hardworking people of this community. Incredible. And I would remind you that this is just the projects that the state was involved in. The organic growth that you have going on every day with your local leadership, your local economic developers in your cities and in these adjoining counties, it's just incredible to see what's happening in this part of our state. And this is a perfect example, this project is, of the results that our approach can deliver. You know, the state saw this need coming. Man, I think back just that measly couple of $1 million that Governor Deal got by giving you. I don't know. That's him and Chris got out of that one in good shape. But we realized that this facility, being able to host larger and more prominent events, would be very important, not only for the region, but for our state. And we took the initial steps early in my administration to expand the investment with an initial $275 million in bonds and $2 million in cash. And you know, I was thinking back, thanks to Joe, to Michael Owens, Ansley Williams, Commissioner Pat Farrell, many other people that I have met in my travels and stays, both Marty and I, in the Savannah area. We learned so much about this part of the state, about what drives the economy, and we know that a big part of that is tourism and our service industry. And I also got to experience that firsthand right here at this facility when I was Secretary of State. We used to be vendors at the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia event that was down here, and so I was on that convention floor for hours every day. I understood what the staff did. I understood the experience that vendors get and saw firsthand that hospitality myself. And then just the people I end up meeting through different events, political and official, that we did, really got to see the fabric of this community. So, Joe, thank you for your leadership and all that you and the rest of the folks I mentioned really taught me about this part of the state. We also entrusted, as Mark mentioned, the management of the facility and the project to the professionals at the Georgia World Congress Center. I cannot say enough about the leadership of Frank Poe over the years. He has served our state so well. But we have a great new leader in Kevin Duvall, who's here with us today. And I was next door to the Georgia World Congress Center this morning with an event of out-of-state people, 1,700 people at the Signia Hotel. It's just incredible what's going on, and that same thing is happening right here. So thank you, Kevin, for your leadership. From there, we all came together to support the funding of this project and ensuring its completion and setting up Savannah for many, many years of more growth and success. And we're really already seeing the results buy-in in this project here in the city, in the county, and we're also seeing the private sector investments that come along with a facility like this when you think about restaurants, hotels, and attractions that continue to spring up around us. Taken all together, this is another reminder of what we can accomplish when all levels of government and private industry work together, as again Mark mentioned, to create growth and opportunity. And I know that this approach will continue to bear fruit, both for the area surrounding this state-of-the-art convention center and all of Savannah and coastal Georgia. And we look forward to celebrating that success and seeing the impact this expansion will have in attracting significant travel, both for business and pleasure, to this community. So again, thank you all for your hard work and your perseverance on this project, and congratulations on an incredible milestone. Thank you.
So, we're going outside. So if you'll all join us just outside for the official ribbon cutting ceremony. We'll be just outside these doors. Thank you everybody for coming. We appreciate it.